This video covers Part 2's middle portion, on broken promises, behaviors, and betrayals explained, from the Final Fantasy VII original main series and the remake trilogy. Do not watch this video if you didn't watch Part 2's intro, Final Fantasy VII, the Unreliable Narrator, since this is a continuation of that video. You'll need to watch the Unreliable Narrator in order to understand why Cloud Strife is intentionally lying and acting on his own self-hatred, which is consistent in both the original and the remake trilogy. In Part 2's intro, the Unreliable Narrator, we already covered how it was Zack, not Cloud, who had truly spent the most time speaking to Tifa and getting to know her. It's consistently revealed in live gameplay, not cutscenes, that Cloud is the Shinra Trooper NPC, watching Zack and Tifa in the background across all versions.
Would it kill this guy to say something? I really wanted to see the reactor.
Oh, are you done investigating?
No, not yet.
Well then, you should head back there.
What's the reactor like inside?
The complicated relationship between Cloud, Zack, Aerith, and Tifa across all main stories will explain why the promises are not truly about the hero narrative or defeating Sephiroth. The broken promises relate to subverting trauma, extreme lying behaviors, and violence with star-crossed love stories. Love that transcends time, space, even death. However, there is another star-crossed love story that is hidden in plain sight since Final Fantasy VII Original, all the way back during 1997. This other pair of star-crossed lovers also subverts trauma, extreme lying behaviors, violence, and manipulation through shared hopes and dreams. For this purpose, we're going to be directly comparing their relationships using split-screen comparisons by exploring gameplay, 3-star dialogue options, cutscenes, behaviors, and the source material, all to explain Cloud's other broken promises, intentional lying behaviors, betrayals, and violence, including why Cloud is primarily in love with one female lead, and what this means for the final game. This will be exploring why the developer's intentions matter, why developer canon matters, how mistranslations and other gamers lying about the story has deeply harmed the Final Fantasy VII franchise as a whole. We'll be using developer source material, the developer's intentions, and canon spoilers to explain these plot twists by using almost entirely facts. This will not be through player bias, nor player influence, nor player preferences. The gameplay presented is the default game outcome for 100% completion of Rebirth's chapters and all side quests and characters. Trigger warning for the following. Sadly, many of the characters' harmful behaviors are being minimized, at times using trauma or the experiments to explain away Cloud's actions, when more accountability is needed to redeem him. Lastly, we'll cover more retcons with Tseng and Cissnei, who are elite Turk assassins, who have been human trafficking, murdering, and storing civilian remains for profit, including their impact across time and space. We'll explain why not everything can be retconned to justify a better ending, including how to fix the convoluted plot. That said, let's get to it. Remember, the devs reveal this within the source material, that Cloud is doing this mostly of his own will, not solely because of the experiments. This is confirmed several times in the Ultimanias, that the plot twist is that not all of what he says is true, directly pointing out that Cloud is an unreliable narrator and lies. Just to show how frequently Cloud lies, the lies are so rampant, they're even in idle dialogue and are all throughout live gameplay. In both Japanese and English during Junin, when Cloud puts on the trooper uniform, Cloud drops the fake amnesia act, but only to the player, and it's scattered throughout Rebirth. In English, Cloud mentions it's been a while after wearing the trooper uniform, yet in Japanese he says, "Nostalgic, isn't it?" Or, "It brings back memories," which is far more direct in revealing Cloud remembers the truth.
懐かしいな。
Been a while.
懐かしいな。
Been a while.
Regardless, Cloud's deceptiveness about Soldier, belittling Zack, stealing sole credit for being this glorious only savior, or his personal grudges from childhood. None of this holds a candle to the depth of Cloud's resentment and insecurities. When it comes to deceptiveness about himself, the real Cloud, stemming from his own self-hatred.
But I'm fine.
Focus on you, Cloud. The one I've been trying to find. The real you. Because right now, I want to be with you. And I'm trying so hard to find you.
Really? But you seemed fine on your own.
That what it looked like? That I enjoyed being alone?
You didn't?
Of course not.
Huh. Guess we still don't know each other that well.
Like your life depends on it. We're not powerless. We're not powerless.
Okay. Thanks.
So long as we don't lose sight
needed
of what's
that.
important.
The main Final Fantasy VII compilation canonically confirms he is lying to both Aerith and Tifa, although he's only truly in love with one of them, yet is intentionally deceiving the other, due to lifelong resentment.
Real pretty. No,
Beautiful.
beautiful. Kinda depends on the angle.
I gotta go.
She's just great to be around.
Ironically, Cloud Strife is also lying about his personality, his behaviors, his gestures, and his words to mostly Tifa Lockhart alone. This is not happening to the rest of the cast, and it's tied to his personal grudges from Nibelheim. Note 2. This is not a retcon. In fact, Cloud Strife lying to Tifa about his personality, the real Cloud, happens in every single chapter in Final Fantasy VII Original. There are two reasons Cloud is lying to Tifa about his personality across all universes. In both the original and the remake trilogy, one reason Cloud is deceiving Tifa relates to social exclusion with Tifa in both childhood and adulthood. Cloud is also socially excluded in almost all of Tifa's quests in Rebirth. This is not her fault, but relates to their personality differences. The second reason Cloud lies to Tifa in every universe relates back to the original Tifa Lockhart from the novels, the Ultimanias, and the film. Tifa's true dreams have a potential star-crossed love story, though this is not with Cloud Strife, but with someone else. The remake Ultimania Plus in Japanese confirms Cloud is purposefully deceiving Tifa about the real Cloud. Cloud behaves pretentiously, with a movement similar to what Zack used to do, handing out the flower. The cool behavior Cloud shows Tifa in Seventh Heaven is the expression of a young man he wishes to be. It's inconsistent because this is Cloud's own deceptiveness about himself, within his own mind, that's being expressed directly. The raw English translation is similar, describing how Cloud is imitating Zack's personality with Tifa on purpose. Cloud holds out the flower, with a somewhat cocky gesture, the kind Zack would make. Cloud is shown lying with Aerith also, on page 109. The remake Ultimania Plus states that Cloud has an excessive reaction to Zack's name, whom he doesn't want to acknowledge or hear. But the novels and Ultimanias also heavily support that Cloud is in love with Aerith. On the top left in red, it states that Cloud maintains a look of indifference, but his heart is actually pounding inside. In Japanese, this is very similar. Aerith closes the distance between them. Their shoulders just barely touch. Cloud's face is calm, but on the inside, his heart is racing. In Rebirth, Cloud's constant lying behaviors are foreshadowed in live gameplay. For instance, Cloud is more truthful to Aerith, hinting that he's a trooper, Yet he lies to Tifa about experiencing soldiers' food routines. He tells Aerith troopers take half a shell with them on missions, since they're symbolic of undying love and death, referring to the fact he's in love with Aerith, even beyond her death.
It's so teeny tiny!
You know, a lot of troopers take half a shell with them when they head out on missions.
I know where this is going. It's meant to be a keepsake for their partner, right? A symbol of their undying love.
And an omen of death for the trooper if anyone else sees either one, some people say.
Yet he completely switches his behavior with Tifa, lying to her about being a soldier, and soldiers' food tasting bad. He lies by reinforcing his ideals of soldiers having robust appetites, though in reality, Cloud has a very weak stomach and gets nauseous easily. So if the gamer is paying attention, you should notice Cloud is able to switch from being more truthful with Aerith, yet intentionally lying to Tifa instead.
Question. What kind of meals do they feed soldiers?
They put a lot of thought into making them healthy, not much into making them tasty. Ugh.
That face says it all.
What? Cloud?
Zack, you remembered.
Hey, why don't we grab a bite to eat? After you're done. My treat.
Really? That would be great. So, once I'm feeling better, I'll go. Because right now, just thinking of food makes me... Oh, sorry, Zack.
My bad. Don't sweat it. Well, hope you feel better soon.
You know, a lot of troopers take half a shell with them when they head out on missions.
Question. What kind of meals do they feed soldiers?
They put a lot of thought into making them healthy, not much into making them tasty.
If you're starting to notice a pattern, all the things Tifa loves, such as going to the gym, exercise, being a foodie, and seventh heaven, all of them relate to Zack and no one else. So why does Cloud lie to Tifa about who he is? Why is he copying Zack's gestures, personality, even mirroring him on the Skywheel? Because Cloud knows that Tifa may have developed a crush on Zack when all four of them were teenagers. This is also consistent with the original series. This is also why many of the frustrations the original Tifa mentions relate to Cloud Strife's introverted, less talkative personality. This differs in Tifa's behaviors with Zack, where she tells him all her hopes, dreams, the promises, and her crush on Cloud. Because Zack is naturally talkative. It's hinted from the original Tifa Lockhart's journals, she might have liked Zack romantically. The original Tifa never acted on her feelings, as Zack was dating Aerith at the time. All the best qualities the original Tifa lists about Zack, including him being vibrant, outgoing, and friendly. None of these traits have to deal with Zack being her hero. They relate to Zack Fair's personality being an extrovert and talkative.
Well, it's no good just waiting for my knight in shining armor to show up. So I've started learning how to fight, myself. Sensei tells me I've got a knack for it.
I'll ask the townspeople about Sephiroth.
Thank you, Tifa.
I haven't practiced since I was a kid. What should I do?
Back out?
Well, that's not an option.
Hate you, Shinra, soldier, and you. I hate you all!
After visiting his home, I was nervously excited upon hearing Zack's name. I acted to Cloud as if I've never heard of him before. I'm glad you were there. Thank you, Zack. I hope we can talk a little bit more about Soldier one of these days, because there's something I want to ask you. She felt Cloud's hand on her shoulder. It was firm, as if to hold her down, keep her from going away. I'll get all my crying done now, then I'll be ready to lean on this shoulder. 5 years ago, 2 men from Soldier came. Sephiroth and a young and vibrant soldier. Instead, it was a bright, black-haired youth. I remember how outgoing he was. He even came up to me to introduce himself. He said he was born in a village way down south called Gongaga. His name was Zack.
Cloud knows Tifa may have developed a crush on Zack Fair, which is why every interaction they have, Cloud is watching them and taking mental notes. Cloud is essentially faking an entire personality, behaviors, or words to get Tifa to reciprocate sexual or romantic favors. Which is why he's shown purposefully copying Zack's personality, his career, his words, and even his gestures out of spite.
Beautiful.
Kinda depends on the angle.
Beautiful.
Kinda depends on the angle.
Like here in the Skywheel, Cloud lies to Tifa using Zack's advice, saying, "We're not powerless, and we're not alone." This is literally just Zack's advice with a few extra words. It's the same thing.
We're not powerless.
And we're not alone.
We're not powerless.
And we're not alone.
So Cloud is not just stealing credit for Zack's career, he's also copying Zack's gestures, his hobbies, even some of Zack's exact words, and using them on Tifa as if they were his own. This is why on the High Wind, Cloud reveals he created an illusion of himself. That illusion is someone who's more like Zack Fair. So Cloud ends up lying to Tifa about almost everything regarding who he is. Remember how Cloud was unusually extroverted, telling Tifa she was beautiful at seventh heaven. We now know from Rebirth, Cloud even copied Zack's flirting gestures. Cloud watched Zack bragging about Aerith. He then imitates how Zack flirts, based on observation.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Kinda depends on the angle.
I gotta go.
She's just great to be around.
We're going to pause it right here, because Cloud goes so far as copying the exact pose Zack uses, in order to manipulate Tifa into liking him. Not only is this extremely intentionally deceptive behavior, since Tifa doesn't know who Cloud is, as they were strangers growing up, she has zero idea how much Cloud is consistently lying to her. This is not our opinion. Cloud has been lying to Tifa by imitating Zack's gestures and persona since the original game, which is why Cloud mentions he witnessed everything, including Zack reaching out to hold Tifa. In fact, Cloud goes so far as to mirror Zack's flirting gestures on Tifa, down to the way Zack sits and holds his hands.
I ran into Johnny, by the way. Said not to worry, he was getting out of town.
What?
Oh,
Not interested?
that guy.
I'ma tell you anyway.
You weren't thinking of leaving Midgar anytime soon, were you?
Real pretty. No.
Well, seems this old friend of mine's in a tight spot.
On the angle.
A long time ago I said I'd be there for her. Made a promise. So,
We know this is Cloud purposefully lying about who he is, as he imitates Zack's flirting behaviors on Tifa, and it's working.
if you want to talk, I'm listening.
Huh?
Kinda depends on the angle.
What's with you all of a sudden?
She's
With
just
me?
Great to be around.
Like you're losing that hard edge.
Yep.
That bad?
City mouth.
Cloud models Zack's exact posture and Zack's flirting behaviors on Tifa, because he knows Tifa might have been attracted to Zack's personality. This is why before Cloud mentions the broken promise, he hesitates, like he has to actively think before moving. This is not the real Cloud. He's basically copying Zack Fair, because he recognized Tifa may have been attracted to Zack's personality. This is why Cloud's dialogue trees with Tifa are taken from Zack's advice from Crisis Core, regardless of the world they're in. For instance, Cloud's advice to Tifa saying, "You did good," is a combination of Zack's advice saying, "You did it," and "good work."
Cloud, good work.
You did good.
Cloud, good work.
You did good.
Cloud going so far as to mirror Zack's gestures, to get Tifa to like him, fully supports he knows what he is doing is harmful to her. Moreover, anyone can copy this gesture, You don't need Genova cells inside of you to do this. Anyone can do this pose, like this guy in the stock photo. So the fact that this gesture can be copied by anyone fully supports that Cloud is lying about far more than just trauma and broken promises. Whether it's Cloud imitating Zack's exact words, copying Zack's gestures, or even Zack's flirting moves. This romantic manipulation is specific only with Tifa and no one else. Even more diabolical is when Jesse enters. Cloud goes back to using his own gestures. He does not lie to Jesse using Zack's moves. He knows when to take off the mask, and it's intentional. So is Cloud lying to Tifa to this extreme amount, consistent with the original Cloud? The answer is yes. The original Cloud mentions numerous times. Tifa has never truly met the real Cloud. This is confirmed in both the original and Rebirth, where Tifa confirms several times she has no idea who Cloud is, as they're revealed to be strangers from the same village.
But you seemed fine on your own.
That what it looked like? That I enjoyed being alone?
You didn't?
Of course not.
Huh. Guess we still don't know each other that well.
Not knowing each other that well is a massive understatement. Cloud's harmful behaviors stem from a much deeper level of resentment in the original, being socially outcasted by the Four Fiends. Sadly, Rebirth massively retcons this by focusing entirely on Cloud's loneliness and self-pity instead. The original Cloud was far more nuanced, in that his self-hatred, violence, and defensiveness was a more realistic response to being socially outcasted by his peers for being different. This perfectly explains why Cloud is so easily manipulated by Sephiroth, since his hatred is born from within. The retcons in Rebirth, focusing entirely on Cloud's loneliness, are very one-dimensional. When in the original, it was not solely loneliness, but a much deeper level of resentment, self-hatred, and violence for being socially outcasted. Thus, the true origin of Cloud's harmful behaviors are not because of the experiments. It really comes from social exclusion by the Four Fiends, and by society as a whole. Despite being a social outcast, Cloud is visibly the happiest with Aerith, whereas Tifa shines brightest with naturally talkative characters. So the problems aren't solely due to trauma, exclusion, nor broken promises. It really has to deal with personality, lifestyle, and romantic incompatibility.
They hit it off quick, huh? Must be nice to make friends that easily.
What, like you can't?
This isn't so black and white either, as Cloud being unable to fully be himself. Tifa's romantic tests, expectations, and promises are all very reasonable. It's Tifa's personality, her lifestyle, and her dreams, not her trauma. That's the true reason Cloud chooses Aerith, regardless of player influence. What Tifa is asking for is someone emotionally mature and naturally talkative. Cloud's true self has the exact opposite of these traits. A person that would consistently stay by her side, putting Tifa's and Marlene's happiness above his own. Someone who sees Tifa Lockhart as home. Moreover, Cloud constantly deceiving Tifa or making her question herself about her own sanity all stems from an extreme amount of denial and lack of accountability Cloud has when facing his own mistakes and his decisions to lie. It's not just the extreme amount of denial which Cloud faces over the Four Fiends. It's him purposefully gaslighting Tifa over the past.
Wait a second. You two were neighbors?
We were, but it's not like we hung out that much.
We had our reasons.
Cloud lying that we had our reasons, instead of directly saying, it's because I was being bullied and socially excluded in Nibelheim, is one of the reasons his mind eventually shatters. Yet the point of no return, of when Final Fantasy VII turns into a romantic tragedy, is when Aerith dies in Cloud's arms. The reason Cloud ends up broken, is because it's heavily implied he fell in love with Aerith as himself, the real Cloud.
And I'm trying so hard to find you.
Unlike with Tifa, Cloud is using his own gestures, his own personality, and his own experiences with Aerith. There's no trauma bond, nor gaslighting, nor promises to keep. Whereas with Tifa, Cloud is intentionally manipulating her by imitating Zack Fair, just like the original Cloud had done. It's for this purpose Cloud's lies outside of Soldier also deal with faking an entire false personality, faking some of his own words and gestures by copying those around him. Which is why the original Cloud explicitly says in Japanese, "Everything about me became make-believe," or he continued to play the charade as if it were true. Directly confirming lies about using a false persona. Unfortunately, this pathological lying behavior is specifically catered to Tifa Lockhart and no one else. Cloud does lie to the entire cast, but not to the severity and cruelty that he is doing to Tifa.
But I guess I was wrong.
Guess so.
I was so happy to see you again, but maybe I shouldn't have been.
Cloud is not only holding resentment over exclusion with the Four Fiends and Soldier, he's also holding an ugly grudge over something Tifa had done.
Ah!
You better keep me safe.
Although Tifa did socially exclude Cloud, this is not the reason Cloud is romantically manipulating her. Instead, Cloud is holding an ugly grudge. It's revealed in the original, traces of two pasts, and the ultimanias that all four men had courted Tifa for years. Tifa had grand gestures, promises of marriage, and romantic courtship from all of them, which Tifa continued well into adulthood.
I couldn't believe my eyes. He was all grown up. Didn't even recognize him at first.
I really want to see my girl, but Nibelheim, it's just so far away, you know?
Here's where it gets even more diabolical. In the remake Ultimania Plus in Japanese, on page 120, Cloud describes Tifa as a one-night stand. That Tifa is nothing more than a mistake of his youth. He also describes feeling satisfied that Tifa is filling his ego about being a savior. Rather than feeling for Tifa, Cloud feels the joy that lay dormant deep within him. He has finally become the cool person he has always wanted to be, a savior. Or perhaps it's a bittersweet memory of his youth, similar to a one-night stand, a mistake made by young men. Something Cloud has never experienced. A faint, satisfied smile forms on Cloud's lips. In English, this is also very similar. Granted, as we covered prior, the English translations are overly sympathetic in describing Cloud's harmful intentions. More so than feeling something toward Tifa, Cloud takes pleasure in becoming the person he's deep down always wanted to be. The cool Cloud, capable of rescuing Tifa. Or perhaps his pleasure comes from creating this bittersweet memory in the flush of adolescence. The sort of youthful late-night indiscretion he's never had the chance to experience. Cloud's mouth shapes itself into a faint, satisfied smile. The Japanese version is much more explicit in displaying Cloud is intentionally using Tifa to fill his own ego. In Japanese, he describes Tifa as a one-night stand, where Tifa is a mistake of young men. Yet in English, the translation is minimized. Cloud describes Tifa as a late-night indiscretion instead. The devs incorporated Cloud's harmful view of Tifa within her own romance scenes, where he is often deeply deceptive, much of which is romanticized. This all relates to Cloud's inner thoughts, revealing he's purposefully using Tifa to fill his own ego about being a savior, where he relates to Tifa solely as an object, that Tifa is nothing more than a one-night stand, and a mistake in his eyes. We want to keep reminding casual fans that Cloud's lies, inner hatred, and violent tendencies were present long before the Mount Nebel accident and before Sephiroth, Genova, or the experiments were ever in the picture. Instead, in the Ultimanias, novels, and in the original, it's Cloud's own hatred, resentment, and revenge over his constant social exclusion and failures that made him this way as an adult. However, the social exclusion does not explain this level of spite, violence, or constant lying. Rather, there's a very specific betrayal Cloud experiences with Tifa, which is why he calls her a mistake and a one-night stand in Japanese. At some point, Cloud found out that Tifa had made romantic promises with all 4 men from Nibelheim, which explains why Cloud calls her a one-night stand and a mistake in his inner thoughts.
As the boys neared their teenage years, their perception of Tifa shifted again. She was no longer a childhood playmate. She was a girl, and one any of the 3 boys would have been happy to end up with. Their afternoon adventures were soon peppered with attempts to flirt and show off. Tifa, for her part, didn't mind the silly and somewhat flattering displays. All 3 boys converged on a single point, a triumphant reappearance in the village to take Tifa's hand and whisk her away to a better life. He'd keep her safe. Each boy promised he'd give her a future. In their eyes, Tifa was a badge of honor, a trophy to be won, proof of success and escape from a life of mediocrity. She settled on a pale green dress, the color of young leaves. It was a dress that Emilio had once said looked especially good on her.
You remember the dress I wore? It was one of my favorites.
The light blue one? With a bit of green in there?
Yeah.
When spring came, Cloud said he was leaving for Midgar. Tifa had heard it 3 times before. He wasn't just going to look for work. He wasn't like the other boys. The night before Emilio's departure, he showed up at her home, swearing he'd be back. "Wait for me," he pleaded.
So, if Tifa is falling for the fake Cloud, one based on lies about broken promises, while imitating Zack's personality and gestures, where does this leave Aerith?
Beautiful.
Kinda depends on the angle.
When we mirror their gameplay from Remake and Crisis Core, Cloud forgets to put on the fake Cloud, the one copying Zack's personality and gestures. He ends up revealing the real him by accident.
Turks get called in to handle all kinds of situations with extreme prejudice.
Professional bad guys.
You think?
Gotta love
Flowers would grow here?
Back to my question. So what's he to you? Looked like you knew each other.
Maybe he thought I could be the greatest soldier yet.
Forget it.
You mad?
So, what Cloud shares with Aerith about the Turks on the rooftops is all true. He did in fact work with the Turks as a Shinra trooper in the past. This is consistent no matter the dimension, timeline, or world. So Cloud is being honest about who he truly is. He worked with the Turks as a teenager, and he is sincere about himself, just like he was sincere in the original. Cloud falling in love with Aerith as himself is shown through Cloud's own behaviors. This is not because Cloud believes he has Zack's feelings, Zack's personality, or his memories. We know this by using split-screen comparisons of mirrored gameplay. The way Zack behaves with Aerith is entirely different from the way Cloud behaves with her. This is why, when both characters fall through Aerith's church, Cloud apologizes to her for accidentally falling into her flowers, while Zack refuses.
Like really?
Sorry, I didn't mean...
Like really?
Sorry, I didn't mean...
We want to point out too, that Cloud revealing his true self, the real Cloud, is the same as the original Cloud, who is also his true self whenever he's around her. In essence, the real Cloud has been present with Aerith since the very beginning. We can visually see the real Cloud appear inside of his consciousness after falling through Aerith's church. The real Cloud is a metaphorical representation of Cloud's soul. His soul appears the most around Aerith because he's fallen in love. The real Cloud being present is confirmed again through Cloud's behaviors and through character interactions. These are not Zack's behaviors or his personality. Everything is Cloud's. This is why, when Cloud spends time with Aerith, he uses his own gestures, his own personality, and his own words. None of these behaviors are copied from Zack. They are all Cloud's.
Could have fooled me.
Normal is overrated.
From what I've seen, you're no quitter.
You think so? Today's special. That's why I've been working my butt off.
One day,
What's
I'll
so
show
special
you a pretty
about
sky.
Because there's liking, and then there's liking.
it? Seriously, what's going on?
Aerith,
You've
I'm
been
Zack.
weird all day.
I have to repay you somehow.
Don't worry about it.
No.
I'm sorry.
Aha. Hey, how about one date?
What is that? Don't be silly. This is some kind of race today, folks. In all my years in the booth, only seen a couple this close. So, Cloud, which bird do you think is gonna take home the win?
Well, Aerith, considering their plumage and breeding, I think the choice is clear.
Cloud's ability to smile and laugh openly with Aerith is the reason he's chosen her. This happens regardless of the player's preferences. But because Cloud isn't great at communication, he never tells Aerith directly he's in love with her, although his behaviors confess that he's given Aerith his heart. That behavior is the way Cloud gazes at Aerith, as though nothing else in the world matters but her, and only her. The devs display Aerith as Cloud's primary love interest, through art direction, dialogue, and behaviors as well. When we mirror their gameplay, we see Cloud fall for Aerith through his own eyes. We see her the way he sees her.
Like your life depends on it. We're not powerless. We're not powerless.
Maybe you're not okay.
Seventh Heaven. Paradise in Sector 7.
Does Cloud live here?
I guess he does.
You two are the best. I couldn't have made this without you.
Yeah, you could. Believe in yourself.
Thanks.
Seventh Heaven. Paradise in Sector 7.
You're that Seventh Heaven bartender!
Not today, but someday soon.
Seventh Heaven.
Pretty sappy, huh?
Cloud, good work.
You did it. Made a promise. So, that bad?
Not at all. I like it.
Beautiful.
So why does Cloud betray Aerith on the Skywheel? Why does he lie to Tifa by imitating Zack's personality? The best way to describe this is Cloud is so consumed by his jealousy over Zack being Aerith's first love, he ends up sabotaging himself.
So, this Zack guy, you still like him?
Wow. You went there, huh?
We need to point out that Aerith lies to Cloud about her true feelings in Rebirth, not because she still loves Zack, but because she knows she's going to be killed. Aerith gives Cloud multiple warnings not to fall in love with her, since she knows she's going to be murdered by Sephiroth. Aerith is known as a Cetra, so her powers allow her to warp through time and other universes by using her consciousness, so Aerith already had knowledge of her impending death. What Aerith does in Zack's hometown is she lies to Cloud about still liking Zack to prevent Cloud the pain after her death, especially if he knew they were mutually in love.
But whatever happens,
So, this Zack guy,
you
still like
fall
him?
in love with me.
I'm sorry. Wow. You went there, huh?
Even if you think you have,
Maybe.
it's not real.
Whatever happens,
He's
don't blame
never
yourself.
given me a reason not to.
It's revealed in the novels and Ultimanias that Aerith is canonically in love with Cloud. She also canonically rejects Zack within her journals and inner thoughts. Both stories display this by Aerith confronting Cloud's fears over his jealousy towards Zack, who is Aerith's first love. Aerith acknowledges that Cloud and Zack are different people, and that Cloud is not him, and therefore not Zack.
But you're not him. And that's okay. Because right now, I want to be with you. And I'm trying so hard to find you.
So, Aerith rejects Cloud and Gongaga, not because she still likes Zack, but because she is fully aware of her early demise. Except it's already too late for that. The Ultimanias explain Cloud was already beginning to fall in love and develop feelings for Aerith at Evergreen Park. This means Cloud fell in love with Aerith very early into the story. Final Fantasy VII Original, the novels, and multiple Ultimanias all confirm Cloud was beginning to feel romantic feelings of love for Aerith only 2 days into knowing her. This is not platonic or sibling love, but is described as romantic by the developers, which is also confirmed by Cloud Strife himself through his own behaviors and inner thoughts.
For instance, in Japanese, Cloud's resolution is clearer about his romantic feelings towards her. Aerith, but please, don't fall in love with me. If that happens, it's just in your imagination. Cloud, that's very one-sided. Yet in English, this is far more vague, where Cloud says, "Do I get a say in all this?" Aerith also says, "Even if you have, it's not real."
The Japanese version describes Cloud already feels one-sided romantic love towards Aerith. Yet in English, this is minimized, and Cloud asks a question instead. The Final Fantasy VII compilation is full of blatant mistranslations, erasing how deeply Cloud has fallen for Aerith. It's the same for Cloud breaking the promise to become Tifa's hero. Although Cloud did save Tifa as a trooper, the promise is broken because Cloud is intentionally gaslighting Tifa and romantically deceiving her. The promise is also broken through Cloud's deeper beliefs that Tifa is a one-night stand and a mistake made by young men, that Tifa is to serve him for his pleasure, and his ego regarding being a savior or a hero. This is why media literacy is so important as gamers. Cloud is not a silent protagonist. It doesn't take having a PhD to notice he's not truly happy with Tifa and is using her.
Come on, think.
Remember, these lies have always been catered to Tifa Lockhart, which is the same plot twist as the original, that Cloud is lying to her about his personality. The real Cloud lies about his behaviors and lies about his entire history. The lies and dishonesty that Cloud tells Tifa, and to a lesser degree, Aerith, are all heavily romanticized and blamed on his trauma, Sephiroth, Genova, and the experiments, except much of the novels and the Ultimanias contradict this. The novels, Ultimanias, and through comparing multiple games, each show Cloud has a lot more influence on his own actions than the games display. So not everything is because of Sephiroth, Genova, or the experiments. Nuance makes it very clear. Cloud is choosing to act on his own insecurities, his own self-hatred, his own deceitfulness. Cloud lies so frequently in both the original and Rebirth. This is textbook pathological lying. It's often lying through omission, gaslighting, blaming, and so forth.
Sorry, man. What did you say his name was?
I feel like I failed you.
Zack. Zack Fair.
Zack?
Why is your helmet still on?
Sorry. No. It's personal.
Remember, Cloud's true memories display that he's always remembered Zack Fair, where it's revealed it was Zack who had truly spent the most time actually talking with Tifa, while Cloud was the trooper watching them as a patrol officer.
No way! I want to go too, please?
Zack's personality almost perfectly aligns with Tifa's romantic preferences from the novels, film, and all games. We'll cover this more in Part 2's final video, but Tifa mentions fondness for Zack's personality in almost every Final Fantasy VII work. So when Cloud imitates Zack, he notices Tifa reacts positively, and therefore continues to feed her more lies.
Talk to her? If you want to talk.
No.
I'm listening.
Like, she could have been a model, and... You're not interested, are you?
Not really. But I'm happy to listen, so go ahead.
It's okay. Forget it. What's with you all of a sudden?
With me?
Like you're losing that hard edge.
That bad?
Not at all. I like it. Maybe Marlene won't be so scared of you next time.
Thus, while Cloud lies to Tifa by imitating Zack's behaviors and personality on purpose.
We're not powerless.
Okay.
So long
Thanks.
as we don't lose sight of what's
I needed
important.
that.
Which is the same as the original, where Cloud lies about his personality, the real Cloud, to the original Tifa as well. Similarly, Cloud is not deceiving Aerith about his personality, which is why his gestures, behaviors, and persona are entirely himself. Whereas with Tifa, Cloud is imitating Zack's persona, as it's heavily implied Cloud is aware Tifa is attracted to Zack's talkative personality, not the fact Zack saved her.
Talk to her? If you want to talk.
No.
I'm listening.
I'm sensing some issues here.
Granted, if the date scenes are all canon, which is not yet confirmed, this means Cloud willingly betrays Aerith, while also lying to Tifa and romantically manipulating her on purpose. Outside of Cloud's lies, manipulation, and gaslighting in Rebirth, there's also plenty of times he behaves like an asshole because he's insecure. Biggs and Zack both talk about Cloud's jealousy in Rebirth, that Cloud is a deeply insecure and jealous person, someone that doesn't like competition.
Cloud, he didn't tell you? Must not have wanted the competition.
Yes, there are clearly obvious times Cloud is under the influence of Sephiroth, Genova, and the experiments, like when he attempts to disembowel Tifa, or when he tries to slice Aerith's torso. Yet even without Sephiroth, Genova, or the experiment's influence, Cloud regularly pushes lies and violent behaviors, mostly on his own.
No violence, please. This town suffered enough.
Come on.
The source material reveals Cloud is acting this way out of his own selfishness, all stemming from his own self-hatred, not the other way around. Moreover, Tifa fully acknowledges that Cloud had violent tendencies, would lie, or was extremely defensive even before the experiments, before her mother Thea's death, and before his other losses.
At some point, she and Cloud had grown distant. The obvious suspect was the accident on Mount Nebel, shortly after the death of Tifa's mother. But even if the events of that day really had played out as everyone claimed, Tifa still felt a nagging sense that there was more to it. Cloud had been pulling away from her long before that fateful day.
So despite how Cloud's love for Aerith subverts broken promises, violence, and extreme lying behaviors, Cloud's redemption must focus on accountability, since crying, telling the truth, or begging for forgiveness cannot grant absolution. No matter how severe Cloud's trauma or being experimented was, none of this justifies lying, betrayals, and violence in the present, in the now. Then is Cloud still redeemable? He might be, but just barely. There is definitely a version of him that has gone too far.
I'm not like him. I'll never be like him.
Rebirth falls to cliché writing by using past trauma or deflecting blame solely onto the experiments or other characters to justify forgiveness, essentially erasing any accountability for their own choices. Having trauma or retcons cannot force forgiveness for everything. Nor can past trauma, blaming others, or the experiments fully absolve Cloud of his own choices. At some point, there's just himself and his own poor decision-making. Cloud is also being granted automatic forgiveness for lying, betrayals, and violence, due to having childhood trauma, loss, and being experimented on. Except remember, this is not regarding blaming Cloud for his mistakes, his trauma, nor his failures in the past, nor the fact he failed to become a soldier, or was imprisoned by Shinra, the Turks, and Hojo. None of this is his fault, and it's also not his fault Claudia, Aerith, and Zack died either. Rather, it's Cloud's harmful behaviors in the present, including his lack of accountability, by blaming everything on his past trauma, where the writing suffers. Cloud is being granted forced forgiveness, without truly ever being held accountable directly to his actions in the present. We don't mean punishment like Aerith or Zack's death. Rather, none of the horrible things that happened to him in the past should remove ownership or taking in proper consequences and accountability for what he's doing in the now. For instance, Cloud depriving Zack's parents of closure when he's fully aware their son is dead in most worlds is extremely messed up and both vindictive and spiteful. The least Cloud could have done is admit Zack died saving Tifa and himself, that he buried Zack in front of Midgar, so at the very minimum, they could visit their son's remains. Except Cloud never provides Zack's parents closure. He gaslights them instead in both worlds, over jealousy with Zack being Aerith's first love. Even posthumously, his jealousy runs deep. This is the type of direct accountability, true redemption, and proper consequences that are needed. Using trauma or the experiments to deflect blame won't redeem Cloud. True redemption involves accountability and justice. Having trauma doesn't grant forgiveness for vindictiveness in adulthood. Even if Rebirth takes place in a dream, or a temporary world that is going to be destroyed, Cloud still needs to make amends to every character he's wronged. This is really the only way to redeem his character at this point. Given the entire forced forgiveness theme in Rebirth seems hypocritical at best. Moreover, Rebirth opens up a new can of worms with romantic betrayals and emotional cheating that were not in the original as strongly.
Thing is, Cloud, I really like you. But then, like can mean a lot of different things, can't it? 'Cause there's liking, and then there's liking.
This forced forgiveness shows none of the characters holding Cloud accountable for harmful behaviors. There's a difference between empathy and enablement. Rebirth is mostly enablement.
I'd like to be alone.
Are you angry?
Mm-hmm.
At me?
Not at you. At everything. Must be nice to have a friend you've known since you were a kid.
Man, stay down, brat.
Cloud wants to come too? Cloud? Come on, let's go!
Someone you can say, "Remember the time when?" to. Someone you can reminisce with.
I hope so. It just showed up.
Couldn't have made this without you.
Yeah, you could. Believe in yourself.
Thanks. I don't have anyone like that, and it feels like I'm being taunted for it, which stings more than it should. That is why I want to be alone.
Cloud?
Plus, I might take it out on you, and I don't want that.
I don't mind.
Well, I do, and it'd only make me feel worse.
Aerith has many frustrations at the water tower, like her being human trafficked and isolated by the Turk assassins, which is very similar to Cloud's own isolated childhood. She's also discouraged in being unable to break free from her fate as a Cetra, where Aerith's powers as a mage are used to save the planet. Yet there's a hopelessness to it. There's nothing she can do to change her future. In addition to Aerith holding in feelings of hurt at Cloud betraying her all throughout Rebirth, yet because of Aerith's maturity, she processes this on her own and keeps it to herself. Sadly, this doesn't mean Aerith is not harmed by Cloud romantically betraying her. There's a few particular scenes where it's very clear Cloud using Tifa romantically is emotionally breaking Aerith inside, which is also happening to Tifa to a lesser degree.
Come on! Sorry!
After the almost kiss with Tifa, Cloud makes a very brief expression that we are going to slow down for you. If we look at this scene in normal speed, Cloud seems fine, and maybe even happy being romantic with Tifa. Yet if we slow this down to less than half speed, Cloud's true expressions display pain and hurt, as he gazes at Aerith as his true feelings. This is why having social awareness and being able to logically analyze the developer's intentions is key. At face value, Cloud appears happy being with Tifa, but his expressions, behaviors, dialogue, and all story prove the very opposite. directly mirroring everything across the Final Fantasy VII compilation, canonically shows Cloud is in love with solely Aerith. Which is even more apparent if we compare the romance scenes between the original Aerith and the original Tifa's gameplay. Cloud was even more in love with Aerith in the original, which was weighted heavily in Aerith's favor, where the hidden in-game dating mechanics favored Aerith at 50% out of 100%, while Tifa is defaulted at 30% out of 100%, without player influence. This means Aerith is Cloud's primary love interest, without player bias, by default. We'll cover their story and gameplay more in Part 2's final video. However, Aerith is the second main character of Rebirth, which is canon to the entire series. Aerith has the most gameplay, story, and content, only secondary to Cloud. We know this by completing all characters, not just Aerith or Tifa. Unfortunately, there are many toxic fans that intentionally lie about the Final Fantasy VII series, as it's very clear based on direct comparisons that Aerith is the primary female protagonist and also the primary love interest. In fact, Aerith's live gameplay, dialogue, side quests, story, and the amount of content is more than the rest of the characters, only secondary to Cloud. We know this because we completed 100% of the entire cast. Remember, we'll show this more in Part 2's final video, but you play as Aerith Gainsborough the most, only secondary to Cloud. This is not the case for Tifa except in Zack's hometown.
Just a small way of letting them know they're always in my thoughts.
They're yours.
We'll explain why so many gamers and toxic fans intentionally lie about the Final Fantasy VII series, when the comparisons clearly display Aerith is the main female protagonist and love interest. One blatant reason for this is fan service relating to Tifa's appearance, specifically her chest and body, and gamers addicted to pornography, hentai, gooning, and fan service material. The average gamer who is addicted to porn and gooning is not going to pay attention to what Tifa is actually saying with her dialogue, the characters' intentions, why they are lying to each other, and what the context of the scene is. This is a significant reason as to why so many falsely assume Cloud and Tifa are primary canon, by not noticing Cloud's lies, are taken directly from the original and Crisis Core that are hidden in plain sight. Rebirth is constantly showing by split-screen comparisons that Cloud is solely in love with Aerith. His desires for her will surpass player influence by breaking the fourth wall. Cloud will go out of his way to stop Aerith from speaking to other men at the Gold Saucer, whether Tifa is there or not. This is not really about Shinra, but relates to romantic jealousy instead, by Cloud preventing Aerith from speaking to men that might be interested in her.
There must be someone out there who'd want to hang out with a cool person like me.
Stop it. This isn't the time to go making new friends, right?
Yeah, you heard the man, Aerith.
All I'm saying is, anyone can put on a friendly face, including Shinra spies. They could be anywhere, waiting to pounce.
Thanks, but I'm not that naive. I know a Shinra creep when I see one.
This is shown in every gameplay option, whether Cloud is with Aerith, when Cloud is alone, or when he's with Tifa too. The end result is always the same. Cloud will consistently prevent Aerith from speaking to other men out of jealousy when they're not together.
There must be someone who'd hang out with a cool person like me.
Stop it. We're not here to make friends. All I'm saying is, anyone can put on a friendly face, including Shinra spies. They could be anywhere, waiting to pounce.
Thanks, but I'm not that naive. I know a Shinra creep when I see one.
If you say so, just stay sharp, okay?
The Final Fantasy VII compilation is constantly reaffirming Cloud is only in love with Aerith through direct comparisons, by how he treats them. This is so consistent that we can compare them across all stories and worlds. Cloud is deeply enamored with Aerith, but also feels trauma bonded to Tifa. Even the way he describes how Aerith makes his heart race, but relates Tifa to his ego instead, that Tifa is a mistake, and a one-night stand, made by young men, is deeply problematic. Which is why despite Cloud putting himself into a rebound romance with Tifa, he is visibly unhappy, at times forcing himself to feel, when that feeling is hollow. Which is why in mirrored scenes, when Aerith or Tifa confess their feelings to Cloud, it has no special meaning to him when it's Tifa, because he knows what he is doing will hurt her greatly. The developer's art direction confirmed this too, whether it's light versus dark, or colorful versus neutral tones. Mind you, this is the same camera angle, where the mocap actors are in similar spots. Yet Cloud's reaction is night and day. He visibly adores Aerith. Whereas with Tifa, Cloud is lying to her this entire scene, even in the 3-star dialogue choice.
Do you remember a guy named Emilio from Nibelheim?
Only person from the village I remember is you.
All the guys are leaving.
But I'm not like them. I'm not going just to look for work.
The village I remember is you.
But you seemed fine on your own.
That what it looked like? That I enjoyed being alone?
You didn't?
Of course not.
Rebirth is full of instances where Cloud lies to Tifa or Aerith to their faces, almost as if it's second nature for him. Yet completing the game fully reveals Cloud is aware of these lies, yet continues to push them. It's not truly the experiments as to why Cloud is lying to Tifa, but his own self-hatred, jealousy, and resentment. With Aerith, this happens far less as he's fallen in love, by subverting this very trauma, extreme lies, and broken promises. This is also why Cloud views Aerith from his own eyes, in first-person perspective, whereas Tifa is less so. Whether it's Cloud's attempt to help Aerith or Tifa after being under Sephiroth's influence, he only crawls after Aerith by dragging himself solely after the woman he loves. You have to literally be blind not to notice these parallels within the story. Part of Cloud's redemption arc for the final game in the remake trilogy must involve romantically rejecting Tifa, just like he did in the novels, but more clearly. Final Fantasy VII On the Way to a Smile and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children the novel shows Cloud canonically rejects Tifa several times when she asks him if he loves her, which occurs immediately after Aerith's death and again 2 years in during Advent Children the novel.
Cloud rejects Tifa a third time in Advent Children Complete. However, in Japanese, Cloud rejecting Tifa is again more clear. In Japanese, Tifa mentions, "Why do we have to lose out to a memory of Aerith?" indicating Tifa lost to the love triangle, even posthumously.
私たち思い出に負けたの?
However, in English, this is again mistranslated. Conversely, in English, Tifa asks Cloud to pick between a memory of Aerith or us. Both versions, Cloud chooses Aerith, as shown by his consciousness, by hearing Aerith's voice from the live stream.
Which is it? A memory or us?
But I let you die.
Dilly dally, shilly shally. Slow time to the forgiving.
Tetsuya Nomura clarifies Cloud's story in Final Fantasy VII is not about moving on or letting go. It's how they wanted to redefine how death is not an end, where Aerith's consciousness lives on inside of Cloud.
意識として生き続けているという描き方に変わったかなと。その前作のラストを踏まえて、今回はそこを広げていってるとか、死んでもその意識というものがまだいつまでも残っている。クラウドが AC の本編中に何度かエアリスの姿を見てるんですけど、その意識を、死んだ人の命を感じているから見えているというか、そこにその意識があるというよりは、その生きている人の中にその意識があるからそこに見えているというか。
If Cloud's redemption arc is well written, he will give up both his promise to Zack and Tifa to become a hero, since this was never Cloud's dream in the first place.
I'll embrace my dreams in honor. And my dream is to become a hero.
That's what heroes do. They save people.
If the ending relates back to the original compilation, they'll use the original Tifa's journals for Tifa to subvert broken promises, lies, trauma, and violence away from the past.
After visiting his home, I was nervously excited upon hearing Zack's name. I acted to Cloud as if I'd never heard of him before. Cloud never really initiated conversations with Marlene in the first place, but he wouldn't ignore her when she talked to him either. I bet he's just tired. But despite her reassurances, it bothered Tifa.
Always do. Honest and true.
Get a few answers. I can't do that.
Let me guess. You don't like dumb rhymes.
No, I like rhymes sometimes.
Understand?
No, I don't.
Cloud,
Promise not to tell?
you sure this is about fighting?
You're lonely, aren't you? Marlene said. I'm sorry, Tifa answered honestly. Cloud simply left home, that was all. Tifa no longer had presence of mind to keep the children thinking all was well. Why did he go? As if she knew, maybe Cloud had problems. Wash it all away, Tifa thought. My past, our past, and why not me too? She felt a vague sense of terror dawning upon her. Is it okay for me to keep living like this?
I'm back.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Guess who I just saw? Biggs.
Really?
No, I shouldn't laugh. Tifa thought better. Cloud was not the best at socializing with people, which was to say he was downright awful at it.
No wit, big sword,
It won't be scary.
but no skills.
Trust me, you're gonna
I've
love
got
it.
skills.
This last-minute surprise in Kate Sith's fortune doesn't solely relate to Cloud and Aerith's union, but to something else.
Put your trust in others, and a last-minute twist may pleasantly surprise you?
This last-minute twist or surprise relates to Zack and Tifa potentially falling in love. This sounds insane, but it's entirely possible when we look back to Final Fantasy VII Original, specifically to the original Tifa's novels, her journals, and her dreams. Tifa has always remembered Zack, yet the reason she lies about not knowing him is not because of amnesia. It's because Tifa may have developed romantic feelings for Zack.
Are these? They are! Gungaga mushrooms!
Moreover, Tifa's romantic tests, promises, and her dreams also deal with sharing romantic interests, like being with someone naturally talkative.
Like, she could have been a model and... You're not interested, are you?
Not really. But I'm happy to listen, so go ahead.
It's okay. Forget it.
Was this another test?
No, it wasn't. Why deny it? I guess it was, huh? I'm sorry.
Tifa is constantly apologizing to Cloud for having basic standards. Her hopes, dreams, romantic tests, and preferences are all very reasonable. So if Cloud keeps breaking promises, gaslighting, and romantically manipulating Tifa, and although Rebirth may take place in a dream or a world that's going to be destroyed. Then who is meeting Tifa's broken promises from the past? Who is fulfilling her dreams and romantic desires consistently?
Let's go home, my love.
I'm back.
Welcome home.
Home! Not here yet.
Guess who I just saw? Biggs.
Really?
Said he'd visit, too.
Oh, yay! Did he say anything about Daddy or Tifa?
Oh, sorry. Forgot to ask.
Aww!
If this is done correctly, and if they decide to use the romantic subplot they wrote between Zack and Tifa that has yet to be used, all the way back from 1997, then it won't be a retcon, but will reference their relationship from the original series. Zack and Tifa must subvert lies, violence, manipulativeness, and trauma. They should have no connections to Shinra, the Turks, nor romanticized betrayals. There should also be no romantic betrayals or hints of cheating between Zack and Tifa. Given this version of Zack is still potentially dating Aerith, they need to entirely avoid cheating cliches. We say this because Rebirth Zack never received Aerith's breakup letter. Zack is usually given this letter by Angeal's winged dog, who is Zack's pet guardian in Crisis Core. Except, Zack's pet guardian does not exist in the remake trilogy, so Rebirth Zack is not aware Aerith already broke up with him in her final letter, which means the final game needs to resolve their relationship again. Our challenge to the developers is to use the entire final game to build up Zack and Tifa's relationship. However, the devs can easily lose this challenge if the pacing feels rushed, rather than convincing us why Zack would make Tifa happier through his personality and their shared dreams. What Zack and Tifa have is a lot of romantic potential and underlying chemistry. If the devs write this properly, this would be another star-crossed love story.
Well, that clears that up. He definitely doesn't know who Zack is.
Thank you, Tifa.
The best way for the devs to launch Zack and Tifa as another star-crossed love story is for them to use Final Fantasy VII Originals compilation, looping it back to the remake trilogy. The original Tifa's novels and journals referencing Zack's personality should be used. Tifa mentions Zack is outgoing, friendly, talkative, and vibrant. If a woman calls you vibrant, that is a much rarer compliment than being called a hero. Plus, none of the things the original Tifa mentions from her novels or the original relate to Zack being her hero. They all relate solely to Zack's personality instead. If Zack and Tifa potentially falling in love is the twist the developers are saving for the final entry, they must resolve the lies and romantic betrayals Cloud's doing with Aerith and Tifa. Moreover, because of the lies, romantic betrayals, manipulation, and violence Cloud is doing in Rebirth, all stemming mostly from his own self-hatred, even if Rebirth takes place in a dream world, or a world that's going to be destroyed. Zack and Tifa need to entirely subvert all these cliches, specifically trauma, violence, and gaslighting. They have a lot of potential to heal, just by them talking or staying together. We can already see the original Zack and the original Tifa subverting trauma, lies, manipulativeness, and violence through their messages, where they talk about their hopes, dreams, and futures, even as friends. It's for this purpose, we highly recommend Tifa Lockhart over Cissnei for Zack Fair.
Aerith? I talked to Cloud. He said he remembers Zack. How they were friends 5 years ago.
This is due to Cissnei being a Turk assassin and human trafficker alongside Tseng. Cissnei consistently murders civilians and human traffics them for payment. They consistently store human remains inside Turk's facilities across every single universe. For all of its strengths, Rebirth sometimes falls to retcon blindness. There's far too many forced redemption arcs, massive character inconsistencies, while ignoring overall personalities when it comes to the Turk assassins, Tseng and Cissnei. Which is why it's heavily implied these are reincarnations of the original characters. Cloud is still an introvert and terrible at communicating his true feelings. Whether it's across time, space, even literal death. They can't stop themselves from falling for each other, in every single life. Therefore, it makes zero sense story-wise, with the forced redemption arcs relating to Tseng and Cissnei's personalities being entirely retconned. Rebirth essentially brushes their murders, human trafficking, and storing literal human remains under the rug, as though this never happened, which is not consistent with their personalities across the compilation. At their core, both Tseng and Cissnei are deeply manipulative characters, selfish and cutthroat as Turk assassins and human traffickers. They've cumulatively murdered enough people to fill a small ocean with their blood in every universe. Forced redemptions, volunteering, and small amounts of guilt doesn't magically undo their actions across time and space. This does not take into account Tseng and Cissnei have been culling and storing human remains in every life, therefore preventing many people from returning to the livestream, since the people they've abducted end up as soulless corpses inside Turk's facilities. Rebirth heavily romanticizes the Turk's crimes by blaming this entirely on other villains, using forced redemptions. When Tseng, Cissnei, and all the Turks are responsible for civilian assassinations, nuking cities, human trafficking, and storing civilian corpses for payment. Forced redemptions, self-righteous forgiveness, volunteering, or playing savior to the main cast in no way erases civilian murders, assassinations, human trafficking, bombings, and concealment of human remains in every single universe. We go into depth in Part 2's final video, how the Turk assassins, specifically Tseng and Cissnei, human trafficking people, murdering civilians, and sending their remains to Shinra for massive payments. Their actions across time and space are slowly removing humanity permanently from the livestream. There's a scene in Rebirth where Biggs tells Zack the livestream is bone dry. The main reason for this is the Turks mass murdering civilians and permanently culling people from existence, meaning the Turks' actions are having a permanent impact across time and space, essentially slowly killing off humanity forever.
What gives? Reactor busted?
Seems it's all out of Mako. Pump's still sucking away, but the only thing it's pulling up is dirt.
Meaning?
That the life stream's bone dry.
Across time and space, Tseng and Cissnei have been slowly draining the planet from their murders and permanently removing people from the life stream. A new world is not going to solve this. Since all worlds and stories are connected, nothing is a true fresh start. None of the stories are fully isolated from one another. Everything is connected. The best way to describe the Final Fantasy VII compilation is the story is looping. The only way to resolve this is through one ending, one world, and one cloud strife. Just to put this into context, there are over 10 plus endings total for the Final Fantasy VII compilation. We won't have enough time to cover it in this video. It's basically like a burnt steak with the endings at this point. If there are multiple endings to the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, it is guaranteed Sephiroth and Jenova will return, when this is not what original fans want. What original fans truly want is one ending and one resolution that would stop the looping story permanently. If there are multiple endings and multiple versions of Cloud Strife existing, this guarantees Sephiroth and Jenova will return, and Meteor will strike the planet again. The only way Cloud can break free from destiny is for him to make a choice in selecting one world. Given multiple worlds and endings, will guarantee Sephiroth reincarnates, which will never truly resolve the series. The final game already foreshadows Cloud's choice may result in choosing one world. This is the world where Aerith and Zack are still alive.
The world's ending. At least, that's what everyone's saying.
Whereas the world where Zack and Aerith are dead will likely be destroyed by Meteor, Sephiroth, Shinra, and the Turks. This one world, one ending, and one resolution best fits how to close the Final Fantasy VII series for good. This explains why Aerith in one world can feel Zack holding her hand in another dimension. It's the same reason Cloud displays jealousy after seeing Zack and Aerith touching in another universe, while he's sitting in a wheelchair which he's fully conscious from, but happens to be immobile. Rebirth already foreshadows Cloud will choose the world where Aerith is still alive. This is a man that dreams Aerith, as though her presence alone is like breathing air to him. Moreover, Cloud is the type of character that only falls in love once. Aerith is that woman whom he falls deeply in love with, and never again. Which is why Cloud is shown rejecting Tifa all throughout Final Fantasy VII Original, through his behaviors. On the Way to a Smile, Advent Children the novel, the film, and the remake Ultimania Plus.
Which is it? A memory or us?
Deep down, Cloud knows he and Tifa are romantically incompatible. Yet because they're mutually attracted, Cloud is willing to use her, which is why he describes Tifa as a mistake and a one-night stand. This is by no means Tifa's fault, it's almost entirely Cloud's. Tifa has very reasonable dreams to rebuild the new seventh heaven, raise Marlene, maybe have her own children, and help people in the slums.
No. No way!
Tifa!
The problem is not solely trauma, broken promises, or lies about Soldier or the hero narrative. The main problem is that Cloud's strife is not Zack Fair, who it's implied the original Tifa was beginning to fall for. We didn't have time to cover how almost 90% of Zack and Tifa's gameplay across the Final Fantasy VII series are directly mirroring their shared hobbies, interests, and dreams too. There are traces of Zack all over Tifa's romance scenes. It's truly bizarre nobody noticed this before, but he is everywhere in her writing. Zack and Tifa's Easter eggs are in every main game and novel. They have very subtle romantic potential to their friendship. Once we notice this, we could not unsee this. We didn't cover how Zack is also interested in Tifa, and has very strong chemistry with her, even as friends. He's shown teasing Tifa the same way he does with Aerith, displaying affection. Except, Tifa's reaction to Zack is 100% far more amusing than Aerith's. Tifa is entirely caught off guard by Zack's charm and humor. It really shows how compared to Aerith, they might have stronger chemistry. It's really odd nobody noticed how strong their romantic potential is. 1 or 2 romantic Easter eggs is a coincidence. Hundreds is likely intentional. The romantic tests, promises, and the hero narrative were never about Cloud saving Tifa or not. If that were the case, Cloud helping Aerith to save Tifa from Don Corneo should have already fulfilled this promise to become a hero.
Cut the chatter. We gotta leave.
Huh?
Right now.
Rather, the promises are about romantic compatibility, which explains why she asks Cloud to watch Marlene at 7th Heaven. Yet Cloud consistently fails these tests because of who he fundamentally is. This is not solely because of trauma, the experiments, or lies about himself. Given in another life, Zack fulfills Tifa's hopes, her dreams, even without making romantic promises to her, essentially making the promises entirely pointless. Zack consistently stays by Marlene's side and already sees her as family. He naturally has the emotional intelligence and communicativeness, plus his humor and consistent sincerity. Basically, it's Zack's personality, his very soul, which Tifa would blossom being around.
Always do. Honest and true. But let me guess. You don't like dumb rhymes.
Marlene, what are you? No, I like rhymes sometimes.
Symbolize reunion, believe it or not. I was curious.
Do you think this means she's going to wake up?
I tried to keep it alive as long as I could.
Maybe. Can always hope. One day, I'll show you a pretty sky.
Gotta say, it's kinda nice, looking up and seeing a blue sky.
It won't be scary.
That's for
Trust me, you're gonna love it.
As for Cloud redeeming himself, he must finally confess his feelings towards Aerith. Given the Ultimania's reveal, he was already beginning to fall in love at Evergreen Park. He also needs to confess he betrayed her, using Tifa at the Skywheel, which we already revealed via the Ultimanias, by spoiling that Cloud is romantically deceiving Tifa on purpose through imitating Zack's personality.
Hey, did Tifa talk to you about,
Even if Rebirth takes place in a dream or temporary world, there's emotional and romantic betrayals being normalized, since it's hinted that the character's real consciousness are inhabiting a world in another dimension. The remake trilogy explicitly states Cloud is dating Aerith. They use going out and dating clearly in all games. Although Cloud is horrible with communication, he confirms this too in idle dialogue. Cloud is getting paid to bodyguard Aerith in dates, not with money. This is again canon to the game and not optional.
Fine, but it'll cost you. A lot.
A lot, huh?
One date ought to do it.
Huh?
Remember, Cloud is canonically dating Aerith as payment for bodyguarding her. This is canon across all games, and not up to player influence either. Both Cloud and Aerith confirm this themselves. They are canonically dating. This is said in the majority of their quests and mandatory missions too.
Hey, I can help. I'll make this date our best yet.
We could just keep it simple.
And what's a simple date in your world?
Like a walk?
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth literally starts in present day, where Cloud takes Aerith on a canon date in Calm at the Clock Tower. The devs confirm this in the game menu too. Cloud and Aerith are canonically dating, which is canon in all main games, and not up to player influence neither. His love for her is breaking past the fourth wall, surpassing time, space, and even literal death, where there's a version of her that still has a chance to stay alive. Granted, if Cloud doesn't subvert the love triangle, romantic betrayals, extreme lies, and violence in the present,
I'm sorry.
then there will be several bad endings. If Cloud is not held accountable, where he blames everything on past trauma and the experiments, rather than forcing forgiveness for things that were not his fault in childhood, Cloud's redemption arc must focus on harmful choices he's made in adulthood instead. The forced forgiveness theme in Rebirth, lacking accountability in the present, doesn't truly stand when everyone just forgives Cloud for his constant vindictiveness.
Leaving you out in the cold like this? Forget about that loser.
You two fight.
No.
Sorry, I just need some space.
We have enough problems as it is.
Where there's a line that's been crossed, with constant enablement, where forgiveness is absolutely meaningless, if there's zero accountability for present-day harm, and no one speaks up for what is morally wrong, where everything can be conveniently explained away, using trauma, pointing the finger at others, the experiments, or anyone else except oneself. As someone who grew up facing domestic violence, child abuse, also being bullied by my peers, growing up surrounded by massive death and war, with many other atrocities that would get this YouTube video flagged, there is no amount of past trauma that anyone ever faces growing up as a small child being their fault. Similar to Cloud, This is not about blaming him for things in childhood that are different from choices made in the present. Cloud Strife is still redeemable, even with his lies about being a first-class soldier, a famous war hero, and the only hero in Nibelheim. Despite the fact that Zack, Zangen, the villagers, and Tifa were also heroes, Cloud's lies taking sole credit for saving everyone are still redeemable. Similarly, the retcons focusing entirely on Cloud's self-pity and loneliness are very one-dimensional. They poorly explain Cloud's turn to violence later on. The original presented this far better, where Cloud's much deeper level of self-hatred and resentment for being socially outcasted fully explains why Sephiroth is able to manipulate him. Rebirth is trying too hard to garner sympathy for Cloud being lonely, rather than holding him to a higher standard in the present, not for the past, but in the now. Again, Cloud is fully forgiven for his self-hatred, resentment, lies, and instigating fights as a kid, for being outcasted. Despite this, Cloud's redemption needs to be focused entirely on his choices as a grown adult. Trauma and the experiments doesn't fully remove zero accountability for Cloud. That's not how true forgiveness works. True forgiveness involves accountability and justice for harming others. Admitting the truth is the bare minimum, when making direct amends are needed instead. In order to redeem Cloud, he must apologize to Zack for gaslighting Aerith and Tifa about him. Zack never abandoned them. Cloud just lies to them out of jealousy, as we already covered. If Cloud Strife can spend hours playing Queen's Blood, he can spend a few hours really making amends to Zack.
Nice to see you too. Leaving you out in the cold like this? Forget about that.
So, I hear you've been pretty busy.
Cloud also needs to tell the truth to Zack's parents about how their son saved him, Tifa, and the villagers too. How Cloud lied to them out of jealousy, by withholding closure on purpose, because he's envious of him. Especially given how the original Cloud intentionally withheld Zack's resting place from his parents. It takes a deeper level of selfishness to conceal your friend's grave, simply because you're jealous of him. No matter how severe Cloud's trauma, not even the experiments, none of this fully excuses his choice to gaslight Zack's parents, nor anyone else. Cloud's past trauma, being experimented on, or his grudges over being socially outcasted, doesn't bestow forgiveness, lack of accountability, or removing ownership for present-day vindictiveness, gaslighting, or harm. Our biggest argument on how it will be very difficult to redeem Cloud Strife in the final entry is how he needs to be held accountable to a higher standard. All the characters keep granting Cloud forgiveness, when this is really enablement, and not directly related to the harm Cloud has done as an adult. We can still have empathy for Cloud being bullied by the four fiends, and experimented on by Hojo, including Cloud, Zack, and Aerith being human trafficked by Tseng and Cissnei, which is being disturbingly retconned and romanticized in Rebirth.
You were spying on Aerith, right?
Run away if you can, Angeal. The Turks are watching.
The Turks are here too. It's too dangerous to move now.
Yet despite everything, we can still hold reasonable standards on how Cloud acts towards other characters, regardless of trauma. This is why we pointed out the blatant hypocrisy with retcons and nonsensical plot armor, entirely erasing any justice and accountability for Tseng and Cissnei, who are paid hitmen. Tseng and Cissnei will be getting away with murdering survivors of the experiments, concealing human remains, while dumping their trafficking victims like livestock. All because of retcons and nonsensical plot armor, expecting original fans to act like we can't see, can't hear. Essentially forcing many of the Final Fantasy VII original gamers to pretend that justice and consequences don't matter, because of these retcons. If Cissnei cooking soup, volunteering in Gongaga, and helping the party warrants redemption, then her victims who were human trafficked by her, their remains stored by her, and the survivors she murdered. All of these retcons in Rebirth means Cissnei will face zero justice for murdering civilians across time and space. What Rebirth is attempting to force is forgiveness and redemption. For Tseng and Cissnei, mass murdering civilians and any survivors across universes, which is fundamentally irredeemable and should face justice. Given these are literal crimes against humanity, there's no erasing with retcons, since all worlds are interconnected. Plus, the Turk Tseng and Cissnei are consistently murdering and trafficking for Hojo. They've effectively spread Genova's cells across all dimensions. The Turks are getting paid massive bank to murder experiment survivors, dump their bodies, and conceal their remains under Shinra's weapons research and development, so Hojo is not the only one to blame. The robed people in all games appear like clones, but they're actually revealed to be civilians that have mutated, including former Shinra employees that were experimented on. This is exactly why Cissnei calls Cloud and Zack human samples, or why Tseng calls them subjects.
He's the other sample they collected at Nibelheim.
Protecting the subject is part of the surveillance.
This is also why Cissnei conceals her murders as none of our business, which is the same thing Tseng says, taking care of business as a Turk assassin.
Turks take care of Turk business.
The truth is, that's none of your business.
When you murder civilians and experiment survivors for profit, you don't get the right to privacy. Moreover, because of the overdone drama, forcing retconned redemptions for Tseng, Cissnei, and nonsensical twists like Lodbrok or the new Wu Tai War, Rebirth intentionally cuts out screen time, resources, and gameplay away from the original main cast like Vincent Valentine, Sid, and Yuffie. Cissnei in particular consumes 4 hours or more of dialogue and gameplay by stealing screen time away from Vincent and Sid combined, who are original characters. So as an original fan, we are severely disappointed in Rebirth. The devs need to acknowledge, sometimes less is more, when reimagining a beloved series. Square Enix doesn't need to add more retcons for the sake of drama and overcooked plot twists. Rebirth already has so much concentrated drama, with Cloud betraying Aerith.
Thing is, Cloud, I really like you. But then, like can mean a lot of different things, can't it?
You saved me.
Because there's liking, and then there's liking.
Including major spoilers, that Cloud is deceiving Tifa on purpose, by romantically imitating Zack's personality, his words, and his gestures.
That bad? Made a promise. So... beautiful.
The final game of the remake trilogy will fail their fans if they don't center focus back onto the original main protagonists. As loyal fans to the Final Fantasy VII series, we never wanted so much screen time, our money, and resources to be wasted on convoluted plot twists, forced retconned redemptions, and savior complexes for villains.
So don't blow it. If you're doing it, stop it. Get some help.
With that being said, if we could best describe Rebirth's convoluted plot armor, those words would be sometimes brilliant, yet sadly, Rebirth is massively overdone and deeply disingenuous.
What the fuck?
Stupid fucking book.
While forcing plot armor that is so nonsensical and overcooked, it genuinely feels some plot twists are written by devs that never played the games. If they truly played the games, then they'd actually hold Tseng, Cissnei, and the Turks accountable, rather than just retconning blame solely onto other villains instead. This is exactly what Tseng and Cissnei are shown doing, sending soldiers, civilians, and the experiment survivors to their deaths. We didn't even cover how Tseng and Cissnei nuked multiple cities across time, or how they intentionally sabotaged Zack and Aerith's relationship for years.
Aerith isn't there. Problem?
And how is it you know Aerith?
Calling Aerith?
How do you know that? Am I being watched?
No, she's the one being watched.
The Turks are here too. It's too dangerous to move now.
When is Daddy coming back?
Actually, he might not make it home tonight. I talked to Cloud. He said he remembers Zack. How they were friends 5 years ago.
So, this Zack guy, you still like him?
Maybe.
Leaving you out in the cold like this? Forget about that loser.
You stayed when I needed you most. If that's not a hero, then I don't know what is.
What exactly do I have left to fight for? What is soldier honor?
What made Final Fantasy VII Original and Remake brilliant in their writing was the intentional slower pacing and much deeper conversations of the original main protagonists' relationships with one another, not with villains, not with random side characters or NPCs, but the original cast's relationships solely with each other. What we wanted to see as original fans, and for new fans too, with the story, was to build stronger bonds and begin resolutions for the original main protagonists from 1997. Cloud, Aerith, Zack, Tifa, Barrett, Red 13, Vincent, Yuffie, and Sid all have severe trauma, murders, torture, and intentional sabotage by Shinra and the Turks. None of the original main protagonists are getting this 100% focus, given Rebirth spent most of its resources on egregious plot armor. What we got instead was Rebirth shoving an extreme amount of savior complexes for literal paid serial murderers by conjuring new villains or forcing overdone plot twists to justify redeeming them, despite a true reimagining actually holding Tseng, Cissnei, Rufus, and all Turks to justice for their victims too, not just Sephiroth and Hojo. So how do we fix the convoluted plot and the nonsensical savior complexes for villains? That answer is simple. The focus should be 100% back onto the original main protagonists. The best parts of Rebirth were focusing on deepening the relationships of the original main cast in the present, focusing solely on their bonds from 1997. It's why Johnny having a seaside inn is a true reimagining, given Johnny in the original was always side hustling too. It's why Zack meeting Marlene and Elmira is a true reimagining also, because Zack in the original was heading to Midgard, so it was possible Zack was always going to run into them, had he not died. So what are some solutions for the developers? Easy. Finish what you started. Stay focused on the original main protagonists from 1997, including their relationships solely with one another. Just to show how bad this is, Aerith and Tifa, who were original characters, only have 2 cutscenes together the entirety of Rebirth, where they really go into depth into their friendship. Outside of these 2 scenes, Aerith and Tifa have no solo gameplay together, because the focus is on the toxic love triangle, or on random NPCs. Sure, Aerith and Tifa have a lot of fanservice being cute, but there is a massive lack of real story, going deeper into their friendship, beyond these 2 scenes. Note that Rebirth intentionally removed story and gameplay, where the original Aerith and Tifa bonded in the grasslands, Cosmo Canyon, and Zack's hometown. The individual friendship between Aerith and Tifa from the original compilation was severely cut out from Rebirth, with more focus on the toxic love triangle instead. That's not to say there aren't true reimaginings that didn't capture the spirit of Final Fantasy VII Original beautifully. Some original 1997 characters like Biggs, Billy, Chloe, and Johnny were the brightest parts of Rebirth, as they truly drew inspirations from their unresolved stories. Granted, for every improvement in gameplay like the battle system, Queen's Blood, and the Proto-Relic being fun side content. Yet, despite this, Rebirth is a perfect example of what not to do when retelling a beloved story. So we made it easy for the writers. Here's a Venn diagram. on how to fix the remake trilogy's convoluted plot after Rebirth. This is direct feedback on why Final Fantasy VII Rebirth truly failed to capture the spirit of Final Fantasy VII Original. We also put positive feedback on where the last Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy should end. It should 100% recenter focus solely on the original main protagonists from 1997. This fundamentally did not happen in Rebirth, as most of the story was focusing on explaining past events. The last Final Fantasy VII trilogy game should place its attention entirely back onto the present as well, not the past, as the past already had answers and resolutions for the Mount Nebel accident and Cloud's social exclusion by the Four Fiends. Unfortunately, Rebirth is attempting to erase this too, by using excessive retcons, savior complexes, and plot armor for killers saving Tifa instead. For instance, the devs might entirely retcon Cloud and Zack's friendship, working to save Tifa as brothers in arms by forcing Tseng, Cissnei, or Rude into saving her using a helicopter instead. They might literally conjure up a plot armor storm to retcon the Turk Tseng, Cissnei, or Rude into saving Tifa, using shallow plot twists to justify redeeming them. Just to show how atrocious some of these plot lines are, there's Dr. Shirin, who's a retconned NPC, demanding that Tifa forgive Shinra and the Turks. Where Dr. Shirin completely brushes under the rug how Tseng and Cissnei are directly involved in human trafficking, torture, disposing of survivors, among other crimes.
Don't thank me, thank Lady Luck, and Shinra for that helicopter, but not all the apples in that bunch are rotten.
If this retcon does happen, this would massively take away from Zack and Cloud bonding over saving Tifa, while strengthening their brotherly friendship.
Cloud, come on!
I'm okay.
Similarly, what we wanted to see was Zack have far more gameplay and story, working with Biggs and potentially Jesse to rescue Barrett and Tifa from human trafficking too. Especially since Tifa will be in extreme danger attempting to rescue Cloud by herself. Given Rebirth, Cloud is much more violent, more deceptive, and more vindictive than in the original.
Hey, Zack? So, Soldier, what's it like?
I don't want to die! Please!
Well, you'll know once you join up.
If I can join.
Don't worry. If I can do it, you can.
So this brings us to our next challenge for the devs. Zack and Tifa's reunion has the potential to be another star-crossed love story, if they do Tifa's story justice. Tifa Lockhart is the only female character since 1997 that consistently references Zack solely by his personality in all main worlds. Whether it's from On the Way to a Smile, Advent Children the novel, Traces of Two Pasts, or multiple Ultimanias, Tifa references Zack more than Aerith and Cissnei combined. There's also this interesting duality, where they're always barely missing each other, by being in the wrong time, or looking for the wrong person. Regardless of promises, Tifa's dreams are about Marlene's happiness, rebuilding Seventh Heaven, and potentially being married with her own children in the future. We say this, as in the Final Fantasy VII novels, Aerith and Tifa both discuss having their own biological children, and both of them potentially becoming mothers. In Final Fantasy VII Traces of Two Pasts, both Aerith and Tifa discuss becoming mothers when they get older, potentially foreshadowing a brighter ending.
Aerith touched a hand to the ribbon tied at the top of her long braid. Even now, her mother's materia was with her. And someday you'll get to pass it down too, said Tifa. I wonder what kind of person she'll be. Perhaps there'd come a day when she wasn't the last surviving Cetra.
It doesn't make sense to foreshadow both Aerith and Tifa becoming mothers, unless Cloud subverts the love triangle and chooses one of them. We suspect Cloud will likely confess being in love with Aerith, given the spoilers we just covered, to the version of Aerith that is still alive, but sleeping in another dimension. So then, where does this leave Tifa? Well, we think as Tifa fans, she deserves her own star-crossed love story. If this loops back to the original, Tifa might fall in love with Zack Fair, given they both share nearly identical dreams to help people from the slums, care for Marlene, and find happiness in their new lives. Beyond Zack wanting to become a hero, his dreams on a much deeper level were to make people around him happy. The least happy female protagonist from 1997 is hands down Tifa Lockhart. She is the least happy original female lead in all the novels, the film, and games. Remember how Tifa wanted to get coasters for Seventh Heaven? Have Zack go with Tifa to pick up coasters, while they wait for the rest to wake up.
Huh?
I'm gonna...
You came out to go shopping?
Go shopping. Topside.
Okay,
I'll
forget
buy
it.
stuff for the bar, decorations, coasters.
No, I'm joking.
Can I come?
Go take a look.
You'd better.
Then it's a date. Just a look. I'll be quick.
They symbolize reunion, believe it or not. I was curious, so I looked it up. I tried to keep it alive as long as I could. But now, it's dead and buried.
Would you look at that?
let's just keep this between the two of us.
I promise.
Don't take this the wrong way, but right now I need to spend time with the gang. Sorry, you were saying? We'll
Yes.
talk later.
I promise.
Promise me.
I'd feel a lot better if I knew you'd found a good girl. One who'd make sure you didn't get into trouble.
I can take care of myself.
Promise me. You'll never talk to Aerith again.
An older, more mature girl that could keep you on the straight and narrow and tell you when you're being a silly goose.
You got it. What the hell are you...
That's the perfect type for you, I'd say.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. But whatever happens, you can't fall in love with me.
Aerith. You'll have to give me a harder one next time.
Next time?
Yeah, next time.
Here. Take it.
But your mom gave that to you.
So thank you, Cloud, for everything.
What is this?